Hey friends, we are 3 weeks into this series, and if you've been doing the work, the real work of naming your feelings and hitting that power pause, I hope you're starting to feel the shift. Last week we got really honest about self-regulation and the game-changing power pause. We learned that control isn't about stuffing your feelings down or ignoring them. It's about creating that crucial space, maybe just a tiny breath, between receiving the signal and choosing your response. If you missed it, seriously, go back and listen to episode 2. And if you're popping in mid-series, welcome. You're going to want to go back 2 weeks and start at the beginning. It's what kind of bridges everything we're talking about today. We've learned to name it with self-awareness, and we've learned to claim it with self-regulation. But now we're faced with a question that trips up so many of us. Now what? This is where it gets sticky. You've named the feeling, you've paused, but you still don't feel like doing the thing you know you should do. You're standing there looking at the mountain of laundry or the blinking cursor on that email or the running shoes in the corner, and you're thinking, I still don't feel like it. And that's okay. You're waiting. You're waiting for that spark, that burst of energy, that feeling of motivation to finally show up so you can move. Today, we're going to talk about why the wait is killing your progress. We're talking about motivation and why you have to stop waiting to feel like it. Welcome to And That's Okay, the podcast that empowers you to master your emotional world. I'm Lisa Renee Scott, your host and a passionate believer that every feeling is a signal and every signal holds power. In a world that often tells us to ignore or dismiss our emotions, I'm here to remind you that whatever you're feeling, it's for a reason, and that's okay. Can I just be honest with you? I really hope I'm doing a good job explaining these concepts. This isn't just some academic theory. This is real work, the stuff nobody taught us, and I just want you to know that if it feels big, that's because it is. This isn't textbook stuff for me. It's gritty, it's raw, and I care about this because I know how much it can change your life when you finally get it. This week we're talking about motivation. We have this idea that motivation is like a lightning bolt. We think we have to sit around and wait for it to strike before we can take action. But the truth is, action creates motivation, not the other way around. Think about your car. You don't wait until the gas light is screaming at you to decide it's time to get gas, right? Oh, okay. Okay, maybe some of you do. I can only imagine some of you are shaking your head or tilting your head or going, I kind of do. That's why the light and the ding were engineered. But really, you get gas because you have a destination. Commuting to work, running errands, or going on a road trip. You know that if you wait for the empty signal to be the only thing that moves you and motivates you to pull into the gas station to fuel up, you could end up stranded on the side of the road. Yet that's exactly how we treat our lives. We wait for the feeling or the ding of motivation to be fueled. And when it doesn't show up, we stay parked. Your emotions are dinging you, giving you information. Last week we talked about how urgency is a liar. This week we're talking about how a lack of feelings can also be a liar. Just because you don't feel motivated doesn't mean you can't act. It just means your system is signaling something else. Maybe fatigue, maybe overwhelm, maybe fear. And that's okay. It's a signal, not a command. So if we stop waiting for the feeling of motivation, what do we act from? What gives us that drive? The answer, my friends, is your values. Your values are your deepest beliefs. They are your internal compass points, steady, unlike your feelings, which can swing wildly, right? When you act from your values, you are fueling up before you're on empty. So let's walk through what this could potentially look like. I want you to visualize this with me. It's 6 a.m., the room is cool, you hear the birds chirping outside, your bed is cozy and warm. You promised yourself you'd get up and do that 20-minute workout before the kids wake up and the chaos starts. You set the intention and your alarm clock last night. Here's what happens. The old way. You lay there. You feel the weight of the duvet. You think about how tired your legs feel. You wait to feel motivated. You wait for that surge of, I can do this energy. It doesn't come. So you stay. You hit snooze. And an hour later, you're rushing, you're snapping at everyone, and you've already failed yourself before you can even get started with the day. Now here's the new way. You feel the duvet. You hear the birds. You name it. I feel sluggish. I feel comfortable in this bed. I do not feel like moving. Then you hit the power pause instead of the snooze button. And you don't let the feeling drive. Then you connect your values. And you ask yourself, what kind of woman do I want to be today? I value being a mother who has patience. And I know that patience starts with me taking care of my body first. See? You don't wait for the feeling. You just swing one leg out. You feel the cold air hit your skin, and you don't think about the 20-minute workout. You just think about the socks. You put on the socks, then the shoes. By the time you're tying your laces, guess what? The motivation is starting to show up, not because you waited for it, but because you moved. When you act from your values, even when you don't feel like it, two powerful things happen. First, you build momentum. Each small action creates a tiny win. It's like pushing a car that's run out of gas. It's heavy and hard at first, but once it starts rolling, it gets kind of easy. Action leads to momentum, and momentum creates the feeling of motivation that you've been waiting for. Second, you reinforce your identity. You prove to yourself that you are the kind of person who acts on their values, not just their fleeting feelings. You become the person who does the hard thing even when they don't feel like it. So how do you figure out what those values are? Because you can't follow a compass if you don't know where north is, right? This is the work, friends. Think about these three things. First, what truly makes your blood boil? We usually look for values in the happy stuff, but your values are often hidden in your anger. Think about a time you were deeply upset, not just annoyed, but violated, like mad. Maybe it was seeing someone being treated unfairly, someone being dishonest, or lack of respect. That's just not right feeling. That's a value being stepped on. If you're furious about a lie, you value integrity. If you're upset about someone being left out, you value inclusion. Your triggers are actually your values in disguise. Second, who do you actually look up to? I'm not talking about celebrities. I'm talking about people in your real life. When you see a friend set a boundary, or a colleague speak up in a meeting, or your neighbor constantly showing up for their family, what is it about them that makes you think, I wish I was more like that? We admire in others what we desire in ourselves. If you admire their courage, it's because courage is a dominant value in you waiting to be woken up. You don't admire things that don't matter to you. Number 3, when do you feel like the truest version of yourself? Think about those rare moments when the noise stops and you feel totally aligned. Maybe it's when you're teaching your children, or solving a complex problem at work, or just sitting in the quiet of your garden. In those moments, you aren't trying to be anyone else. You're just you. What is the common thread in those moments? Is it connection, creativity, peace? Those moments are your compass pointing north. They are the evidence of who you were created to be. Don't just pick words that sound good in a Hallmark card. Pick the words that feel like home. And once you have them, write them all down. Keep them on your dashboard, literally or figuratively. This is the real work. It's realizing that your built-in emotional system is going to send you signals of fatigue or I'm just not in the mood. And that's okay, but your values are your compass. They tell you where you're going regardless of your feelings. So here's your challenge this week. Pick one thing that you've been waiting to feel like doing. Maybe it's a tough conversation or meal prepping or cleaning out that one drawer. Maybe it's finally starting that project or getting in a morning workout. Don't wait for the spark. Just strike the match. Take one tiny value-aligned action, one leg out of the bed. And watch what happens when you stop waiting for the feeling and start trusting your compass. Next week, we're going to talk about empathy. We're going to talk about how to read the signals of other people's dashboards and how that changes everything in your relationships. Thanks for being here. This is hard work, but you're doing it. And remember, whatever you're feeling right now, it's just a signal, and that's okay. Thanks for tuning into this episode of And That's Okay. I hope our conversation left you feeling validated, empowered, and equipped with practical steps to name it, claim it, navigate it in your own life. If you found value in today's message, please subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who needs to hear that their feelings are valid too. And if you're ready to dive deeper into transforming your emotional landscape, you'll definitely want to grab a copy of my book, And That's Okay. It's available on Amazon or through my website. Just check the link in my bio or the captions of this episode. For daily inspiration, reflections, and more tools to support your growth, come connect with me on social media. I'd love to hear how you're applying the Name It, Claim It, Navigate It framework in your own life. Before we wrap up, a quick reminder, I'm not a licensed doctor or a therapist. I'm simply sharing experiences and insights that have helped me and countless others along the way. My mission is to empower you with tools, not to replace professional medical advice. Remember, whatever you're feeling or going through, you have feelings, and that's okay.